The night the phone rang, I was fixing the porch light. My name is Walter Bishop, and I used to fight fires for 30 years before my knees gave out. My daughter Rachel called me at 9 at night, and her voice was shaking so bad I almost dropped my wrench. "Dad," she said, "can you come get me? Please. Right now." I didn't ask why. I just grabbed my coat. While I pulled up to her house, snow was falling sideways in the wind. Rachel was standing on the front steps in her pajamas, no coat, holding my 4-year-old granddaughter Mia, wrapped in a bath towel. Mia's little feet were bare and turning red from the cold. My chest went tight. I jumped out of the truck before it even stopped rolling. "Get in the truck, both of you now," I said. Rachel didn't argue. She climbed in shaking, and I wrapped my old fleece jacket around Mia. The heater was blasting, but Mia's teeth were still chattering. I looked back at the house one time. The porch light Craig had put in last summer was still glowing, like nothing bad had happened at all. We got home, and I turned the heat all the way up. My late wife, Susan, used to keep a stack of soft blankets in the hall closet just for nights like this, even though she never said what nights like this meant. I pulled one out and wrapped it around Mia while she sat on my lap by the fireplace. Rachel sat across from us, staring at the floor, not saying a word. I made hot cocoa the way Susan used to, with extra marshmallows melted on top. Mia drank hers slowly and finally fell asleep against my shoulder, holding onto my sleeve like she was scared I'd disappear. Rachel watched her daughter sleep for a long time before she finally spoke. "Craig brought someone home tonight," she whispered. "Her name is Tasha." I didn't say anything. I just waited the way Susan taught me to. People tell you the truth if you give them enough quiet space to say it. Rachel wiped her eyes. I thought she was a co-worker at first. Then Craig said, "Tasha's going to be staying with us for a while." Like it was normal. Like I wasn't standing right there. Then his mom, Diane, showed up 10 minutes later, Rachel said. She had garbage bags. She started putting my clothes in them. My work shoes. Mia's stuffed elephant. Even a little photo album from Mia's first birthday. Rachel's voice cracked. She said, "This isn't your house anymore, sweetie. Time to go." I felt my hands curl in a fist on my knees. Rachel kept going. Craig didn't stop her. He just stood there with his arms crossed, like he was watching a movie. I asked him what was happening, and he said, "Tasha needs a place to stay. And honestly, this house was always more mine than yours. Was always more his." I repeated. Rachel nodded, tears falling now. "That's what he said." Then Diane picked up Mia's little rain boots and threw them outside in the snow. Mia started crying, asking why her boots were getting wet. I tried to grab our things back, and Craig pushed me toward the door. "He pushed you?" I asked, my voice low and flat. Rachel nodded again. "Not hard, but enough." He said, "Don't make this ugly, Rachel. Just go stay with your dad for a bit." Then he shut the door. I heard the lock click. Mia was still in her socks. I had to carry her through the snow to the neighbor's porch just to call you. I stood up, walked to the window, and looked out at the dark street. Every instinct in me wanted to drive straight back to that house and knock the door clean off its hinges. Instead, I heard Susan's voice in my head, calm as ever. "Anger makes noise, Walt. Patience makes moves." I sat back down and took a breath. "Rachel," I said, "whose name is on that house?" She blinked, confused. "Craig's, I think. Maybe both of ours? I don't really know. He always handled the paperwork." That answer worried me more than anything else that night. A man who's telling the truth doesn't need his wife confused about who owns the roof over her head. The next morning, I made a phone call to my old friend Pete Ramirez. Pete used to work at the county records office before he retired, and he still knew everybody down there. "Walt, you old smoke eater," he laughed when he picked up. "What do you need?" I told him everything. His laughing stopped fast. "Send me the address," Pete said. "Give me an hour." While we waited, Mia sat at my kitchen table, drawing pictures with crayons. She drew a little house with a big red X through the door. "That's Daddy's house," she told me. "It doesn't like us anymore." I had to walk into the other room so she wouldn't see my face. Pete called back that afternoon. "Walt, sit down for this," he said. "The house is still in Rachel's name, too. Her signature is right there on the deed from 3 years ago. Craig can't legally lock her out. That's not a divorce move, Walt. That's an illegal eviction." For the first time since the phone call last night, I felt something besides fear. I felt hope. I called a family lawyer named Linda Cho that Pete recommended. She agreed to see us the next morning. Rachel barely slept that night. I found her on my kitchen table at 5 a.m., staring at a stack of old mail she'd never bothered opening because Craig always said he'd handle the bills. At Linda's office, she went through every paper carefully. Halfway through, she stopped and frowned at a bank statement. "Rachel, did you take out a loan on this house last spring?" Rachel shook her head. "No, never." Linda turned the page around. There, at the bottom, was a signature that looked almost like Rachel's, but not quite. "I didn't sign this," Rachel said, her voice shaking. Linda nodded slowly. "I believe you. This looks forged. If it is, that's not just a divorce problem anymore. That could be a crime." The room went quiet. Rachel looked at me like the floor had dropped out from under her. I squeezed her hand and didn't let go. That night, my phone rang. It was Craig. "Tell Rachel to stop wasting everybody's time," he said, cocky as ever. "I know what I own." I looked out at the snow, still falling outside my window. "Do you?" I asked calmly. "Because from where I'm sitting, you might be a lot more confused than you think you are." He hung up. Days turned into weeks. Linda found more proof. Text messages, bank records, a second forged signature witnessed by Diane herself. Meanwhile, Mia stopped flinching every time a door closed too loud, but it took time. Rachel started seeing a counselor on Tuesdays, and slowly, the color came back in her cheeks. One afternoon, I ran into Craig at the hardware store. He was laughing with a buddy near the paint cans, like his whole world hadn't cracked in half. He saw me, smirked, gave a little wave. My hand shook with how badly I wanted to walk over there. Instead, I heard Susan's voice again. "The second you lose your temper, you hand in the wind." I turned around and walked out. By early spring, Linda called with big news. "The bank confirmed the forgery," she said. "The county prosecutor is filing charges." And Tasha, the woman Craig brought home that night, she came forward too. She had no idea Craig was still married when she moved in. She's been giving statements against him ever since. The court hearing landed on a rainy Tuesday morning. Rachel wore her mother's old blue scarf for courage. On the stand, she spoke clearly, no yelling, just the truth. "My daughter was standing in the snow in her socks," she told the judge. "She kept asking me why her boots were wet. She was 4 years old." The judge, a quiet woman named Judge Alvarez, took off her glasses for a moment before speaking. She ruled that Rachel would keep the house, that Craig would face the forgery charges separately in criminal court, and that Diane's involvement would be reviewed as well. Outside the courthouse, reporters asked Diane for a comment. She pointed at me and said, "This man ruined our family." I looked straight at the camera and said, "No, ma'am. Your family got ruined the night you threw a 4-year-old's boots into the snow." Nobody argued, not even her. Months later, spring turned the whole yard green again. Mia rode her bike down my driveway without training wheels for the very first time, laughing so hard she nearly fell over. Rachel sat beside me on the porch, sipping tea, finally smiling the way she used to before all of this happened. One Friday, Craig showed up alone in his truck, no lawyer, no mother, just him. He didn't ask for forgiveness. He just said, "I want to be a better dad, starting now, not because a judge said so." I told him the only thing that mattered was what he did next, not what he said today. He nodded, got back in his truck, and drove away slow. Real revenge, I've learned, isn't about payback. It's about watching the people you love finally laugh in the sunshine again, safe and free. If you've ever had to stand between your family and someone who hurt them, tell me your story below. Thanks for watching Daddy's Revenge, and I hope your family always finds its way back to peace.